We just wrapped a complete tour around California Adventure, and I gotta tell you, I was expecting a bonkers day today. And why not? It's a beautiful day out here. Summer's here, kinda. Tickets are discounted. We went to every land, checked in on every attraction. This is our State of DCA report. All right, guys, here we go. This is our first opportunity to do a state of report after June 10th. June 10th being that date that guests could start using that discounted ticket. We've been talking about it for months now, it seems like. I've been eagerly anticipating this development because of what happened the last time they sold these. As you recall, February, March was just bonkers. Busiest I've seen these the park in probably a year. And the expectation is that we should see something like that again now in the middle of summer in June. Discounted tickets are available. Let's go see what the park looks like. Start with a little vibe check down Buena Vista Street on this Friday afternoon. It is 11:52 as we make our trip down Buena Vista Street. Hi guys, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you guys. Beautiful afternoon, by the way, beautiful. Look at this, look at that sky, look at that. It's chill winds, nothing really happening there. It's right now it's about 74, maybe 75. It's a little toasty, but not too bad at all. Perfect weather to tour a Disney park, if you ask me. It's not gonna get much better than this right now. It's t-shirt weather. Everybody's happy, they're here, they're off work or out of school, it's happening. And I think that the what we're seeing so far, the vibe that we're picking up right now on Buena Vista Street is reconciling with that idea, that there's a lot of really positive, happy people here right now, getting ready to make the most out of their day here at California Adventure. I know I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited for this day, obviously, to see how it's going to turn out today. But just being here, like, man, it feels good. I've been here at the parks a lot in the last couple of weeks, more so than usual, doing a lot of filming, doing stuff for Acoustic Channel and things of that sort, and making plans for future shows in the park. And I've been really vibing quite a bit on the Disney parks these past couple of weeks. It's been great. Red car trouble. Look at that, as we make our way around Carthay Circle, timing is perfect because Five and Dime are arriving here to do a set. They are the subject of some updates, some news this week at California Adventure. There was a report out there that the rumor was that they were going to cancel a bunch of shows like the Five and Dime. That is not the case. They are not being canceled. That rumor that was going on was based off of the reservation, or I should say the entertainment calendar on the website. There was no dates for the Five and Dime, so they assumed that meant, or that it could mean, that Disney had planned to cancel that show as part of an ongoing slashing of entertainment around the parks. Five and Dime has not been canceled. But I do, as I understand it, I do know that they are trimming the schedule down by about 20%. So, whereas if there might have been, if their shows 7 days a week, they might do shows 5 days a week. Or they might do, instead of 5 shows a day, they might do 4 shows a day, that kind of thing. Now, I know that the easy reaction to that is to say, well, gosh, Disney and entertainment. And I feel that way in a lot of ways. I'm definitely feeling that way about the Golden Horseshoe, for example. But we're gonna, that's a topic we're gonna come back to as we make our way around the park. But I don't think that's what's happening here with the Five and Dime. I don't think it's being cut simply to save money. I feel like there is another reason, and it's a good reason. I don't know how else to put it, but it's, what, when we get to Avengers Campus, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but first let's get to the Hollywood Backlot and check in on Monsters, Inc. And Hollywood Studios, the backlot it is. Now we're here a little earlier, by about an hour than we, maybe a little bit more than that, than we would normally be. So I'm not sure if we should have the same expectation in terms of crowd densities, especially here at the back lot, but it does feel kind of normal, kind of chill here right now. You guys remember Club Pixar? I laugh because that's obviously was one of the entertainments that have been cut here. I don't know if we ever talked about it on State of DCA yet, but that was one of the entertainments that got cut. Well, the live stuff that they do here on the stage got cut. But I mean, I guess you could say it was to save money, but not because they needed. It was a waste of money. The show was no good. It was a bad show, and so it was just throwing good money after bad. I guess I don't know what the phrase is there, but it was it just wasn't a very good show. It was poorly planned. It's their fault for coming up with it in the first place. You know what I mean? It's not the performer's fault. They're doing the best they could, but it was not a very well thought out concept, and so it got canceled. Monorail. But how you said it, let's check in on Mike and Sully. I feel like it's going to be light, and 30 minutes does indeed seem light. Gosh, it's quiet. Too quiet. Too quiet. When's the last time we've seen a 30-minute standby at Monsters Inc? I feel like we maybe once in the past 6 months or so since coming through here. I mean, it is noon. Oh my gosh. Yeah, by the way, I didn't even notice there's nobody in the Lightning Lane queue right now. I just looked back, there's nobody in Lightning Lane, and we are at half of capacity here in the outdoor queue. Normally we get here, the queue is back there, well, not necessarily all the way to the back, but maybe right here in that first planter. So 2 planters open, and it's moving, obviously, because there's nobody in Lightning Lane. We got a few guys roaming in now, but man. Surprisingly, shockingly, shocking light start to the recon session here, and looking at these queues today. 30 minutes, and it was 30 minutes. Normally I'm like, oh God, I don't know, eesh. But there's nobody in Lightning Lane right now, and half capacity in the standby. As for Pixar Fest, which is still going on through August, they're doing the rest of the stuff, all the games and the little short stop theater here, that's still going, although it does seem quite a bit easier to get a seat. These were very competitive seats to get here when the show first started, when Pixar Fest first started, but you can see there's lots of open seating here, although not in the proper vehicle part. But you can get a seat and watch a short. Delightful. We really enjoyed Pixar Fest that day we did it, but I have to confess that we haven't really participated in it much since then. I mean, there's reasons for that, but it didn't have any sort of repeat value for me, and especially just the food really is the only thing that I'm interested in right now in continuing. But otherwise, I don't feel the need to see the parade. I haven't felt the need to go down to that, the show they were doing at the Fantasyland Theater. I do wonder though. What Disney's perspective is, what their thoughts are on the guest response to Pixar Fest. I hope it did well. I hope so. And I guess I'll go ahead and talk about the Hyperion. One of the running stories that we've had here is what's going to happen here. Why, there's no show. Is there going to be a show? Why isn't there a show? When we shot this last 2 weeks ago, that was right after the news came out about the unionization being final. And so I think we could give up any sort of pretense of there being a show coming back to the Hyperion right now. I mean, that's just off the table now. It seems like if they're looking to cut things like the piano player at the Golden Horseshoe, or show times for the Five and Dime, certainly there's no urgency to put a show here at the Hyperion Theater. I don't know how long we have to wait, but hopefully, I feel like it is. I do think it's not a permanent situation. It's a temporary situation, and it could be dependent upon many other factors. I'm trying to have patience on that, but this is actually one situation that I feel like they do need to put some time and budget into. I feel like more so than some of the other areas that have been affected, the Hyperion and a show there at that theater is something that they need to take care of. But enough of that, let's go to Avengers Campus. I mean, the first thing I'm gonna notice here is that it feels a little light. Not a lot of people milling about here in front of Mission Breakout. No extended Lightning Link queue to speak of. And it doesn't look like anything's happening in the proper Lightning Link queue back there either. And yet the standby is 65 minutes. And I feel like that wait is all standby. It's not, well, obviously, because we didn't see any lightning lanes. But if it's 65, then I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of people in the queue, and that does seem to be the case as we speak. It is 100% full, like very much the opposite of what we've seen the last couple of trips. Very, very full back here. In fact, they've got it extended out here. So what's going on? So it turns out there is a reason, actually. They are down an elevator, which means they're down 2 ride vehicles. Normally there are 6 ride vehicles, 3 elevator shafts, left, middle, and to the right. 2 elevators or 2 ride vehicles per each shaft. They are down 1, so they're running just 4 ride vehicles right now, and it's gonna be that way for a little while. They're doing maintenance on one of them that has been problematic for a while now, so they're trying to get that thing fixed once and for all. So it's going to be, my understanding is it's going to probably be a good 3 or 4 weeks before they're running at full capacity again for Mission Breakout. So if you're planning a trip in the next month or so and Mission Breakout is high on your list, I would recommend doing this either very early or very late if you can help it. Definitely don't do it right now in the middle of the day where it is 12:53. That's not the time to be hitting any of the big attractions, in my opinion, but specifically, in this case, Mission Breakout at DCA, not an attraction you want to hit in the middle of the afternoon. Hey, look, there is Doctor Strange. Great timing once more, Doctor Strange, because you are the subject of some controversy this past couple of weeks. His story is related to the story we're talking about with respect to Five and Dime, although his story does not have as optimistic a conclusion as the Five and Dime story does, or has, in my opinion. Doctor Strange has been canceled. Where Five and Dime has just had its schedule cut, Doctor Strange has been canceled. That entire show that we've been talking about the past couple of months in terms of its value and worth to Avengers Campus, in terms, it being part of this more than this campus, this place being more than just attractions. It really flies in the face of that whole attitude, that whole belief, that whole idea that Avengers Campus is a place to interact, to be with, and to experience the Avengers universe in more than just Web Slingers and Mission Breakout. He's done. June 30th will be the last time you'll be able to catch a Doctor Strange show, and it's going to be completely eliminated, at least for now. I do think that there is probably still some hope for this show long term, but short term, no. I like cutting entertainment to save some money. The part that I'm having difficulty with while trying to be optimistic is that I do feel somewhat let down by Disney, because I have gone out of my way to defend Avengers Campus, to stand up for Avengers Campus, who, I guess people who feel like it's not enough show. And the point of defense is that it's about the Dora Milaje and Avengers Assemble and Doctor Strange, and that it's, like, if they're going to take that away, then what is this place? By the way, you will notice that when if there's no Avengers Assemble show happening right here, this part of the park of the land is significantly less dense. So it's already appearing. Today is a Friday and just no shows. There are no Avengers Campus or Avengers Assemble shows up here. And when I walked through here before, it was very, very quiet, very empty in this space where normally it is very dense and difficult to walk through here. I have to think, I have to hope that there is some sort of, that this isn't lost on Disney and that there's some sort of long-term plan here, because Avengers Campus does definitely need that live entertainment. Well, how long that long-term plan is, if it's just a couple of months or if it's 6 months or a year, I don't know. I'll say this, so a good thing, I was standing here getting B-roll and I saw Spider-Man. So he's still a thing out here. He's still doing his show. Thank goodness. You know what, speaking of which, let's check in on Web Slingers. It's right here. Looks like there's a posted wait time of 45 minutes. And they need to do some queue adjustments here. I just walked in and you never see, I can't even get back there. The queue is backed up right here. Because they haven't opened up this, it's chained off in that section, so people are turning right, then turning left, then going into the bullpen behind the blue wall. We need to get a cast member up in here and open up this section, but that is absolutely a 45-minute wait. As I look at this now, this is probably a no-go for me, although good news is that Lightning Lane is pretty empty right here. That single rider on the right, which I have to wonder, I gotta do some recon on this to figure out if that single rider is efficient or even something that I would want to do. I know I've done it one time when they first started. I went in there just to test it, because you're gonna be on a bench and you're gonna be sharing a ride vehicle with other shooters. It's different. Like when you get on Raider Springs races, you just sit down and you keep your eyes forward and do your thing, but those benches feel more community. The game, the attraction feels more like a thing to do with groups. How many of you actually have done single rider at Web Slingers, and is it at all awkward? I'm curious. See what I mean? The Door Melage show just ended. They're backstage now. Look at just walking right through that selfie. But look at guys. Now, I'm not saying that this land is dead, but it definitely affects the density. I mean, we just saw 65 minutes for Mission Breakout and 45 for Web, so that's pretty standard. And things do kind of get a little bit more normal as you reconnect with Web Slingers over here. But, I mean, that is just a remarkable difference in terms of the, just sort of the energy in the place and the feeling that you get when you walk in here. Look. I don't know, maybe I'm making too much of it, because what are we talking about? Really, the difference there is like maybe 50, 100 people. It just adds stuff. Something has to go in order to make room for that, but both in terms of real estate and in terms of budget. And I have just been talking a lot. I've actually found myself all the way out here into the parade corridor on my way to Cars Land. Route 66 it is. This might actually be a better indicator of where we're at today with the crowds than what we've seen so far at Avengers Campus and at Monsters Inc. Because there's no external influences happening right now. There's no shows down, rides down, or anything like that. Oh, by the way, we should go check first. Mater's posted at 10 minutes. Once more, it's just the most consistently underappreciated attraction you'll find in the entire Disneyland resort. Yeah, it's a 10-minute wait, guys. They're running both sides. Everything looks good. Get in this queue, get in this ride, and enjoy it, please. This feels pretty busy right here. I like the looks of this. I do indeed. But so far, we haven't seen anything like what we've seen back in February or March. But then again, we saw that mostly at the pier, at Pixar Pier. And then it's Soarin'. Soarin' was bad. That was pretty bad. We're in the Cozy Codes right now because I just want to check in on these little standby queues right now, which look pretty standard. I don't see anything. Actually, it's a hot day. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more action here at the ice cream cones or etc. Looks like the pop cone is back to not being popular again. We had seen some impressive queue set up here during Pixar Fest. It's still going because of the chicharrón preparado con camarones. Oh man, that does look good. I regret not having tried that yet, and now I'm stuck. But now they're back to nobody going to Popcone. But yeah, no, not bad here at all.
I just topped off at Flo's V8 Cafe.
That's Lightning over here doing his thing. When's Cars 4 coming out? Huh? Go check Flo's next real quick. Ooh, that looks not great in there if you're doing standby. It is 1:27 as we record this. And I do not envy the folks in that queue right now. You figure about 3 minutes per group. So yeah, you're looking at half an hour there at least, maybe more. Once more, we'll check out mobile order, and yeah, obviously they got all kinds of plates ready over here. 5 and 6 is ready. They got 5 plates of food sitting there waiting for guests to pick up. And what you know, mobile order right now is 0 minutes wait to get your mobile order. You can get it and pick it up right now. You can skip that entire half hour. Fresh Baked, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Mobile order pickup is for now. You can place your order on your phone, submit, and then a couple minutes later go walk up to the counter and pick it up while all those guys in the standby are still waiting for the half an hour. Meanwhile, across the street, 30-minute wait for Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters. It's my favorite Luigi song playing right now. Wow, I was expecting to see more guests here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's at the other side, through the door, that's the back of the queue right there where those guests are. It's not too bad at all. I mean, it's not a walk-on by any stretch, but it's certainly, I was expecting more. I was expecting a bigger queue there. All right, Radiator Springs Racers is next. I do expect a big one here, but I didn't get it. What is going on? It's well, yeah, that standby looks dirty. Posted at 60. And seeing that queue out here means we don't have to walk all the way in there like we did 2 weeks ago. But the bad news here is that I can also see the back of Lightning Lane down there. Right down the middle is the back of Lightning Lane. This crew, these guests right here are like, that's a bad look for a standby queue that's out to here. And then you can see the back Lightning Lane here. That does not equal 60 minutes. 60 minutes is on the low end of wait times for Radiator Springs Racers. So if you're trying to hit the low end, don't expect to find a standby queue out here near the threshold, or a Lightning Lane queue, back to that second bridge there. I'm nervous for that group. I'm nervous for those standby. They could be in for 90 minutes there, I bet. So it's a fairly busy Cars Land today on this first week after the discounted tickets can start showing up, and that's going to happen, by the way, all summer. That those dates go into through the end of the summer. So it's going to be like this for a little while, I think. San Francisco. Hey, look, there's a queue set up again. That means Baymax is here. Although we can't see him. Maybe by the time we leave San Francisco, we'll get to put eyes on Baymax again. But it is popping here, very much so. I do not see, at quick glance, very nearly as many empty tables as we've seen in the last couple updates. Quite busy here. Man, there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement to be dining here at San Francisco, which is great. That's what I love. You know, I love that what they did here. People discounted as being like a cheap reskin. I feel like there was a faction of people responding to San Francisco as though it were a land, like they were treating it like it were a land and it should get some sort of magnificent update. Guys, the Pacific Wharf was not expertly themed in the least bit. They had that little fishing net out there where you could get a picture taken with the fish. Take care. There wasn't anything happening here that you could say, oh my gosh, I want to go eat at Pacific Wharf, not because of the food, but because of X. But that is the case here now at San Francisco. This is why I will continue to go to bat for this place and go to bat for the update that they did here. They did a great job with San Francisco. And by the way, the fish net is still here. They didn't even lose that. It's still here. And so concludes our bi-weekly Love Fest for San Francisco and this bridge. Let's go look at the tip board. And I'm expecting to see more of what we have been seeing throughout the day. I'm not expecting any surprises here as we scroll our way into the tip board. Golden Zephyr, 5 minutes. Of course it is. Goofy Sky School, standard at 40 minutes with a return time in an hour and a half. Pretty standard for that. Grizzly, it's a hot day. Grizzly River Run should be more than 40 actually. 40 is higher than we've seen, but it's, you know, it's definitely, it would be nice to be going through the Grizzly Rapids right now. Return time in, what's that, 2.5 hours? Not bad. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, they are no longer offering fast or lightning lanes, so that means that they have, it's still very popular. 65 minutes. I wonder if they're doing that because of the, you know, the shutdown of that elevator, that they're allowing fewer lightning lanes there. Incredicoaster, 50 minutes and a return time in 2.5 hours. No, 1.5 hours. I'm looking across the bay right now, and it does look pretty intense over there, actually, I must say. So I'm looking forward to being able to take the camera down there in a minute and seeing how that crowd looks. But that was the scene of some bedlam a few months ago. Emotional Whirlwind, strong at 20. That's pretty good for Whirlwind. Jesse's 5, Jumpin' Jellyfish 5, Little Mermaid 20 minutes. Yeah, there's some folks back there waiting. There's a little bit of standby, 20 minutes. Luigi's at 30, Mater's still at 10, hanging in there. Mike and Sully's still at 30. What's that about? Return time of an hour. Interesting. Pixar Pal around 45. Looks crowded over there. Raider Springs Racers is still at an hour. Well, 65 now. Return time of now for Lightning Lane. Sully Symphony Swings running at 10. Soarin' at just 45. I would have thought that would be a little bit higher, considering. And then Toy Story Midway Mania is closed. Hopefully it'll be open by the time we get back over there, but it's closed with a return time of 4.5 hours, which means that it was pretty busy when it was open. And then Web Slingers at 35, so that actually came down a little bit from the 45 that we saw, and a return time of now. God, what? Oh, man, wow. So, no real surprises there. I mean, Incredicoaster was higher than normal. I guess you could say that it's beyond the typical expectation, but not a surprise. If anything, the surprises are that I thought it would be busier. I thought we would see more longer standby wait times. Now for the main event, as far as I'm concerned today, Pixar Pier, Incredicoaster, Toy Story Midway Mania, and how dense, how intense are those crowds going to be? Are we going to see a repeat? Is it too early to start seeing a major impact from those discounted tickets? Are people going to be waiting a minute to use those? We got It's not like they're all going to come on the same day, right? But I mean, at least more of them will be coming than they might have previously. Looks like we do have a little bit of a wait here at the Adorable Snowman, at least. Yeah, that sounds good. I say that every time, don't I? That is about a 30-minute wait to get a Pixar Pier Parfait right now. It's about 30 minutes. Okay. Single rider right here. Back of single rider. Oh no, these guys are loitering. There's the back of single rider right there. That's a pretty good sized queue, although certainly I have seen worse. You know, it's bad when it gets out here to the Coco sign. That's when you know it's really bad. So that's, you know, there's a group, but it's not the worst I've ever seen by a long shot. We got to switch back out here for standby. So that's going to be a bit off-putting for people making their way. But it's just the one switchback. You know, it's not bad yet. Not bad yet.
Andrew, come on.
And they've got... Oh, wait, is that Lightning Lane?
I don't know.
Yeah, this queue right here is Lightning Lane. They're getting ready to scan in. So those folks are showing up as well. Although I would expect that they're getting processed quickly. Yeah, there is a bit of a backup coming up here. The ramp here is starting to back up. There's a back of the queue is just as you make the turn there. For a credit coaster, that's pretty healthy. That's a pretty deep queue for Lightning Lane. Wow. Look at that though. They look like they're having a wonderful time, don't they? I jest, of course. They didn't look like they were having a wonderful time. And it's not even that hot yet. We haven't even hit 80 yet. Come back in a week or two. Well, on the next update, the next State of DCA report, I have a feeling that this situation is probably going to escalate a little bit. But certainly, we can say at least that there has been an impact. We can say at least that there has been an effect on that ticketing crowds today, because that's certainly nothing like what we've seen for the past couple of months. I know it's bad when Lightning Lane comes out here into this common area, out here onto the boardwalk proper, like it did before, and it interrupts the ability to buy a frozen treat. No effect whatsoever, though. We've never actually included Jesse's. It's a straight walk-on. I don't see any guests in there at all, actually. Yeah, it's one rotation only. They got everybody that was in the queue on that carousel, so no waiting at Jesse's. Good sized queue here of folks to meet Buzz Lightyear. Oh, is Toy Story still? Yeah, Toy Story's still closed. I was looking for the queue, I forgot. Then we checked the tip board, it was closed. There's not a lot of loitering here, which I would expect. There's some. These folks right here are chilling, waiting for the attraction to open. These guests right here as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to come back here and evaluate this, or if it would even make any sense to do that. You need a good 15-20 minutes at least after an attraction reopens to see it in its normal state. It'll be a breeze to get in there for the first 15 or 20 minutes. Oh, I've just remembered. You guys, Anger is here now. There's a good-sized queue of guests waiting to meet a character here at the Pixar Promenade. I wonder if we're going to be able to put eyes on Anger. Oh, they're definitely waiting for him because there's not even anybody out. That's the pre-queue. They're standing by. Oh my. Oh, we got some Anger fans back there also. That's great. So if they're queuing up already, you know he's probably next. I hope I can get eyes on him before we go today. And there we go. Anger is in the house. He looks angry. How do you emote angry, I wonder? Stomp your feet, I guess. He can't cross his arms and look that angry that way. There's not a lot of opportunity for the I guess that's it. Getting something of a old school Baymax vibe from that Anger. The one that they did back in the day when Big Hero 6 first came out. I mean, he looks great. The costume is great, but he can't emote very much beyond the expression that's already in the costume. Let's check out the Pixar Pal Around, where it is posted at 30 minutes for the swinging gondolas and 20 for non-swing. That's considerably less than what we saw on the tip board not 15 minutes ago. There's nobody here on the ramp. And I don't know how far around that corner that queue, the back of the queue is. I don't know how far around the corner that back of the queue is. Let's see if we can tell how far before he's, okay, it's going halfway down at least. Yeah, it's about halfway. That's actually quite easy, you guys. You can get through that in about 15 minutes. And this is, now that I'm looking at it, this is much lighter than I usually see for swinging also. Normally this queue runs up the ramp a little bit at least, and then on a busy day it's out here into the walkway. Inside Out, it was posted at 20 when we checked the tip board. It's still showing 20. And the back of the queue, oh, wow. You know what, it still might be 20 though, but I don't like seeing it all the way down here, but I mean, if you're interested, if you're interested in going inside out, then you're gonna do it. But I would say this right here is probably about, you know, 7 minutes or so. Down here, you're looking at 10, 15. So down there, yeah, you're 20, 25. It could be on the higher end though. It's certainly not less than 20. And good news too, the film, it's out in theaters now. And the early reviews are good, very positive. It's like 90 on Rotten Tomatoes. And they're even suggesting that it's gonna have a positive, a good opening weekend box office wise. I was surprised by that. I wasn't surprised, or not surprised that it's good, but I am surprised to see that people are actually buying tickets, because it seems like that's not a thing that people do anymore. The rumor that I'm about to say now is completely untrue, and I just made it up on the spot. I've heard also that to support the film Inside Out 2, they're gonna build a second Inside Out one. They're gonna be Inside Out 1 and then Inside Out 2 right here. Keep this party going. No guests down here at Silly Symphony Swings. The standby is set at 15 minutes, but it's all up there. There's nobody queuing. Golly. Oh, there they are. They're on the stairs a little bit. But yeah, that's 15 minutes. Another easy go here at the Jumpin' Jellyfish. They're running both sides, which is always a bonus. It seems like they're running both sides maybe half the time. But the queue is super short right here. That's a virtual walk-on. Across the street. Check in at Goofy Sky School. Always the site of some interesting observations, some interesting queue signs happening here. Right now the posted wait time is 40 minutes. And oh boy, okay, so standby is definitely hurting at the moment. I've seen worse, but that's not good. It's not good. They're out here in the garden, and they're also sitting on the pavement. Yeah, take that for what it's worth, Fresh Baked. You walk by a queue and you see people sitting down on the ground. That's not a good sign. Although I will say that the lightning lane isn't bad. The lightning lane's just right there. There's maybe 6 or 7 people in lightning lane, so I'm not sure why the queue isn't moving more briskly. They could process those guys in a second and then go back to regular standby operations. So yeah, this actually, as 40-minute queues go, I kind of like this one. I mean, we've seen some pretty diabolical queues at Goofy Sky School in weeks past, where it was 40 minutes plus, you know, a significantly more amount of guests in Lightning Lane and a longer standby queue. So if I saw that queue at 40 and seeing what the rest of the park looks like, I might get in that queue. It's not too bad at all. Golden Zephyr, we saw 5 minutes on the tip board. They're begging for guests here. There's nobody in the lower section, so it's basically one rotation. They could get everybody in that queue on the next round of Silver Zephyrs. And at this point, I would just like to say how grateful I am that I no longer have to walk by Ariel's Undersea Adventure and comment on the Lightning Lane situation over here and the fact that that's where guests are entering standby. We're back to normal operation. I know it's been a few months now, but it just struck me just now that I don't have to do that anymore, which is great. I'm very thankful. And there's that standby queue. I mean, it's a good sized queue. We haven't seen one like that in a while here. It's interesting that today this queue is packed up. We're seeing more than usual, but then other queues we're seeing less than usual on a day where it should be a little bit busier than it has been. I will also add, I've been a Little Mermaid a couple of times in the past week or two. Hi guys. And I gotta say, there's no impact at all on standby from Lightning Lane. It exists, and it's. Oh, hey, how are you? And I don't like it, but it has literally not affected standby in the least bit. It would take a lot for that to happen. It would take a lot for Lightning Lane to get into that standby queue, and it's just not. It doesn't pull those guests. It's there, it's available, but nobody's using it. And I guess now we have to find out if I'm going to immediately eat those words because I'm going to walk in here real quick and see what's happening. This, I'm pretty sure, is standby. That's the back of the standby queue right there. Can I see? There's, oh, well, I don't know. There's some guests. That's the scanners right there. The outside queue is Lightning Lane. So there are, I don't know, 15 or 20 guests here. That's actually a lot more than I was expecting to see. But it takes a 20-minute standby queue for a Genie Plus guest to actually cash in that Lightning Lane. What I'm saying is, it has no effect because most of the time you get in that queue, you're just going to go. Even if you have Genie Plus, you're going to get in standby. I guess is what I'm saying. Like you don't want to clog up your thing or whatever. You don't want to reserve it, perhaps. I mean, you get it back. You get to use the next one as soon as you get or scan through. But if it were me, I would just get into standby. Like, what is even the point? So it takes a queue like that, a 20-minute queue like that, for saying, okay, I guess I will now use that Lightning Lane. So now we got, it's a self-perpetuating situation, which is why it's so diabolical to the rest of the attractions that actually are, you know, well attended or that get long standby wait times. Meanwhile, over here on Redwood Creek Trail, no action. Or is it Grizzly Trail? What do they call this trail? It's some kind of trail. No action at Redwood Creek Challenge. And Grizzly River Run is entertaining guests, to be sure. Although I was a bit surprised to see just a 30-minute standby. Or was it 40? Either, both are light. And it looks like they have heeded my call. It certainly hasn't gotten more chilly since we were looking at the tip board. It's now at 50 minutes, as it should be. 50 minutes, but not a lot of Lightning Lane. That's it right there. So folks aren't using it. They're using it at Little Mermaid right now, but not at Grizzly River Run. What's happening? Here's a sight that I have been waiting to see for a while. Guests in this part of the queue. Man, this is begging for some recon. Wow, wow, wow. How is this just 50? How was this 30 before? I mean, obviously these guests weren't here before, but how wrong. I wish I could sit here and watch this for an hour. But I am just flummoxed by this queue right now. Wow. So they go all this way, and then they turn around, and they go back all the way down that way, and then they get into this part of the queue, and then they come all the way in here, and they go around this whole section back there with a cube that I've never been in, and then they turn around and go all the way back. That looks exhausting, but the good news at least is that, you know, you've got the waterfall happening there. There's a lot of scenery to enjoy, a little bit of mist to keep you a little bit cool while you wait, so it's not the most unenjoyable thing, I would imagine. I'm gonna have to find out. I'm gonna have to spend 25 hours in this queue maybe this summer. Should I? Should I do a 30? And we will wind things down, fresh baked here. At Condor Flats. I think I say that every 2 weeks. We're at Condor Flats. Speaking of canceled shows, what about, you guys remember Minnie's Fly Girls? That was a good time, man. I missed that show. That was a good time, but that didn't make it. It only lasted like a year or two. I'll take that one back. I think I remember seeing a modest 40, 45 minutes for Soarin' on the tip board. No lightning lane here to speak of. Certainly not like what we saw back in February and March when it was wrapping all the way over there to the entrance to Smoke Jumpers. Modest is the word that I would use for this now. Same for the standby queue, especially considering this is a great people eater on hot, steamy days like today, or it's, you know, warm-ish at least, and people want to get in and out of the sun. 45 minutes is the standby right now. 45. Not bad. And I don't mean just Soarin', all that's not bad. If you're a fan of Soarin', that's a queue to get in. Not bad at all. And not bad actually for the rest of the park. A slight jump, a slight bump, 20%, maybe 15, maybe not even that, maybe 10. 10% more guests here in the park than usual, which is, you know, an increase, but it's not what I would have expected, but it is still early. Still lots of summer to go through. It's a start. Let's do a quick lap around the Carthay circle before we wind this show down. Oh look, it's Donald. Wow, it's really nice right now actually, guys. This is really, really nice. I wish I was gonna be heading back into the park right now to do more show and to get on more attractions and enjoy this more today, because it is, as I mentioned earlier, a beautiful day today, a near perfect day to be at Disneyland. This is an absolute delight. I hope everybody's having a good time today. I really, really do. By the way, I think tonight is the last grad night. I think it is. It's a Friday. I think tonight is the last grad night. So what's more, hey guys, cheers to all you grads out there. Good luck in your future. I hope you guys do great. And that's our show for today. So thank you guys very much for watching. Watch our most recent State of Disneyland report. That's going to be a precursor to, again, like our last State of DCA, about the changes that are going to be happening at Disneyland. It was kind of a delightful day there as well. I was here in the park on Monday, the day after, or the 2 days after that. Did an acoustic video, kind of acoustic. Watch that video as well. That's coming up. I think it should be out already on our Tours Departing Daily channel. It was a much busier day on that Monday than the Friday that we have for State of Disneyland. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Bake.